Good morning. Let us begin right where liberty begins, not out there in the swirl of conditions, but here in the state of consciousness that beholds them. The difficulty is never the thing you name: pain, shortage, fear, a stubborn relationship. The difficulty is the beholder hypnotized into two powers, trying to fix an effect instead of realizing the cause. And so this morning, we take in our hands a simple password, and we do not play with it as a slogan. We breathe it as substance. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. You must let that be a key that actually turns a lock within you, a shibboleth that, when spoken within, admits you to an atmosphere in which there is no opposing force, no second mind, no law back of the appearance. Now, hear this, and hear it without compromise. We are not going to try to do anything to the problem. All we are going to do is bring right here where we stand the realization of God's presence. 2 times 2 cannot be 5. An error has no law to sustain it. If you walk toward the horizon, it recedes. Yet you can sail on, live, trade, love, never reaching a rim because none exists. So with the fears that loom, they are the horizon created by looking out from a divided mind, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Drop the toolbox, enter one power. How does that sound when the fire bell rings, when the telegram arrives, when the body shouts? It sounds like this: be still and know that I am God. It sounds like refusing to argue with the picture, refusing to confer either guilt or glory upon it, refusing even the subtle pride of being the fixer. Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Under pressure, we do not manipulate effects, we realize presence, and that realization is the only demonstration you and I have to make. You will see why. If there is one presence, there are not two powers. If there are not two powers, there is nothing to fight and nothing to fix, only a mist to unsee. I will tell you a little story, not to thrill you, but to place your feet. A woman called her Sarah brought me a letter of foreclosure. Her hands trembled. She wanted a method. I said, no method, only presence. We sat, no petition, no outline, only the password. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. 15 minutes later, nothing had changed on paper, but she rose with a poise I could not give her. In 48 hours, the figures reconfigured of their own accord, but the miracle wasn't the ledger. It was the atmosphere. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. So today we begin there, not with effects, not with might, but with spirit. We will move step by quiet step from the slogan to the substance until, under any pressure, your first motion is not to reach for a tool, but to relax into the one who is already here. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Let that be our password to liberty now. Now we move gently but decisively from methods to presence. Do not miss the turn here. We are not going to take a truth statement and lay it on a condition like a bandage. We are not going to argue with the pain or the ledger or the quarrel. We are not going to try to do anything to it. All we are going to do now, hear this, and let it settle into you, is bring right here where the picture seems to be the realization of God's presence. That is the one demonstration only. Everything else that you have ever called a demonstration, healing, supply, harmony, is the shadow of that one, the byproduct, the added thing. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. You cannot make the addition the aim without losing the kingdom. In other words, when you lean after the effect, you step out of one power and back into the carnival of two. Let me tell you why fixing fails. The very moment you attempt to correct, to persuade, to manipulate an effect. You have conferred both reality and law upon it. You have treated 2 times 2 equals 5 as if it had a statute behind it. And where would such a law be written? In God? No. In the mesmerism that says there are 2 powers, a good one and a bad one, doing battle, and you must recruit troops to help the good win. Nonsense. Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. When you try to fix, you worship the image. You throw fuel on the bonfire of appearances. When you realize presence, you are like one who turns on the light. The shadow does not have to be argued down. The horizon you feared was an edge recedes because it was never there. So the practice is very simple, and you must not complicate it. Take our password and let it be substance. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Not as a magic phrase, but as a door into quiet. Sit 2 minutes, 5, without agenda, no petition, no description of the problem to God. He knows nothing of it. Rest in Father, thou art here. Wait until within a soft assurance stirs a surging, a poise that is not of your manufacturing. Do not measure it. Do not peek to see if the outer is rearranging. Be still and know that I am God. When that is felt, even faintly, you have made the one demonstration. Liberty is present as presence. Then and only then the scene begins to reconfigure of its own accord. Bodies respond, ledgers balance, tempers cool, not because you worked on them, but because the atmosphere changed. I still lived, but not in the same atmosphere. You can be in it, but not of it. Let your concern be nothing but that awareness, that inner Christ peace of which it was said, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Give up gratitude for the shifting of form. Reserve your gratitude for God alone. Now, you may ask, if it is this simple, why does my problem shout so loudly? Ah, yes. It shouts because hypnotism shouts, because a world sense drum beats its urgencies and terrors, seeking your consent. We will unmask that noise. But first, let us be clear. We will not trade one method for another. We will not wrestle the shout. We will realize presence, and the shout will have nothing to echo in. Let us pull back the curtain and see why the picture shouts. Not because there is power there, but because a world sense puts a megaphone to nothing and calls it law. Mass hypnotism, the accumulated beliefs about body, money, danger, masquerades as statute, as everybody knows. It says you are a body and bodies break. You are an earner and markets rule you. Forgetting, we rush to fix the picture. Ask, where is its authority? The Christ within answers, thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. 2 times 2 cannot be 5, and no shouting can mint a law to sustain it. History has been honest with us if we care to look. In a war, a bureau of propaganda can turn a peaceful neighbor into a menace by posters and drums. Within months, a nation breathes suspicion as if it were air. A subliminal cue can tilt a crowd's desire. In a family, grandmother's winter whisper, put on your scarf or you'll catch your death, becomes 2 generations later a dread of weather. Today it is the magazine that counts your retirement backward, the broadcast that itemizes symptoms until you begin to own them. Where is the statute for this? In God, no, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. So we unmask it. The body belief shouts, but who said you are naked? Who told thee that thou wast naked? This is not me, this is my body. I am invisible life expressing. The money belief shouts, but numbers in a ledger cannot measure omnipresence. Man shall not live by bread alone. The danger belief shouts, but listen, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night. All the urgency belongs to hypnotism. Spirit is never in a hurry. The Christ peace is not a siren. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Be still, and you will feel it a quiet that does not argue or clutch. That simply is. And when the next shout comes, pain, deadline, quarrel, your work is not to shout back, but to step out of the ring. Refuse to confer a second power. Take the password. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Sit right now until the shout finds nothing to echo in. You will discover the noise had no root, no law, borrowed breath from your consent. 2 times 2 equals 5 seems urgent only while you try to correct it on its terms. Release the terms and it falls silent. We stop bargaining. I'll seek God if I get results. When you say, I'm not trying to get well, you have to mean it. God alone. And the shouting fades. Now comes the point at which most of us stumble, and I do not say they, I say we, because I have stumbled here often. We say with our lips, I want God. I want Christhood. I'm not trying to get well, and behind the lips the heart whispers, but do hurry with the healing. Do not be ashamed of that. Own it. Integrity does not mean that you have never bargained with God. Integrity means you stop pretending you haven't. You acknowledge, Father, I have wanted relief more than I have wanted Thee. I have wanted the ledger to balance, the body to behave, the relationship to mend, and I have called that devotion. When you say, I'm not trying to get well, you have to mean it. And if you do not yet mean it, say so, and let that candor cleanse the field. It is the pretense that obstructs, not the humanness. Now, the hard invitation, and it is the gentlest freedom you will ever know. Surrender, outcome, hunger, health, supply, reputation, lay them on the altar and do not snatch them back. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Do not reverse the order and expect the kingdom to ride in as a caboose behind your addition. Say within yourself, and mean it as best you can, sick or well, rich or poor, praised or forgotten, I am determined that the object of my life is spiritual awareness. Then, rest. My grace is sufficient for thee. Not grace plus a result, grace. And let us, right here, revise our gratitude. Give up gratitude for the healings, for the checks in the mail, for the applause. Give thanks for God alone, for the realized presence when it steals upon you like a soft wind, and you cannot tell whence it cometh or whither it goeth. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. That peace, that inner poise, is the treasure. Do not let your concern be for health, nor your gratitude for the rearrangement of form. Let your concern be that you feel that surging of the Spirit within you. Be grateful that the password is alive in you. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. May I confess, I have said to the Father, get me through this meeting, settle this account, quiet this storm, and I will give more time to thee, bargaining. Lip service cloaked in piety, and I had to stop on the spot, say out loud, so that my own ears would convict me. I want the loaves and fishes. Then add, but thou hast said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. And that is what I choose. Do that now within yourself. I wanted relief. I choose presence. That is not self-condemnation. That is purification. With motives thus clarified, even if only a degree more honest than yesterday, we can practice in truth. We are not going to try to do anything to the picture. We are not entering the quiet to get. We are entering to realize. We sit, we breathe our password as substance, we rest in Father, thou art here, and we do not peek to see what changed. When you can sit without peeking, you are beginning to mean it. You can be in it but not of it, walking through the same streets, seeing the same faces, yet no longer hypnotized into two powers. Presence realized is liberty attained, and outcomes when they occur are just the shadows that follow a traveler who goes by the light. Now we prepare the field not by plowing the ground of effects, but by letting the heart lie open to what already is. Sit as you are, no special pose to curry favor with heaven, only an honest, comfortable seat. Feet on the floor if you can, hands at rest, palms neither clenched nor pious, simply unarmed. Let the spine be easy, the brow unknotted. Take one or two natural breaths, not as a device to draw God down, but as a little sign to yourself that you are through doing. In other words, we are not setting up a technique, we are setting down our tools. Now bring the password to your inner door, and do not swing it like a hammer. Whisper it within, softly, as if laying a hand upon a friend's shoulder. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Let it rest there. Do not aim it at a body, a bill, a quarrel. Let it open a room. We are not going to try to do anything to the picture. Be still and know that I am God, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Allow the phrase to breathe you, let it ebb and flow, and when it fades, do not chase it, rest. Our instruction is simple, and we must keep it that way. We will not attempt to change a condition, we will rest in the changeless. I am the Lord, I change not. So do not look for a tingle, do not listen for a trumpet. Presence is known by the quieting of concern, by an inner poise that asks for nothing. If there is no feeling at all, do not be impressed by the lack. If warmth rises, do not be impressed by the warmth. Refuse evaluation. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. When you stop measuring, the measuring rod falls from your hand and the heart becomes a sanctuary again. And now, if the mind throws up a picture, the pain, the figure, the face, do not argue, do not swat at it like a fly. Let it be there without your consent and turn very gently to Father, thou art here. 2 breaths unforced. Repeat the password once more, not to drown the image, but to acknowledge the atmosphere. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty in it, but not of it. You still sit in the same room. You still hear the traffic. You need not hush the world to hear Spirit. Spirit is the hush. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Now we will share 2 minutes of quiet together. Now we do nothing together, and in that nothing the all is evident. For the next 2 minutes, do not strive, do not improve, do not trade a single promise for a result. Sit as you are. Be in it, but not of it. If a thought walks across the room of awareness, do not own it. Let it pass as a stranger in a station. If a sensation knocks, do not rise to answer. Let it find no host. We are not going to try to do anything to the picture. We are going to abide. If there is a clock in you that wants to count, let it count by dissolving numbers back into quiet. If there is a fear that wants to bargain, I will be still, if you will fix, smile at it and let it drift. No fixing, no bargaining. Abide. Be still and know that I am God, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Let the very air in the room be permission to rest, and let your only concern be to feel, if it comes, that soft inner poise which asks for nothing and is enough. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Now we share the hush. Breath goes on by itself. Sounds arrive and go. We are not drafting them into meaning. Thoughts appear like clouds painted on glass. We do not step outside to chase the weather. We are content to be the sky, invisible, untroubled, present. If an image of the body rises, it is not you. You are the awareness in which it flickers and fades. If a bill, a name, a scene presents itself, it has no law over you. It has no power at all against the one that is above. Do not lean forward. Do not push away. Do not evaluate. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Let that peace be the only activity. Now no words, no plans, only presence being itself. You can be in it but not of it. The 2 minutes are not a corridor you must rush through. They are eternity touching time. Liberty is not an effect to win. It accompanies awareness like light accompanies the sun. We witness that presence needs no help. Quietly, without a ripple, it is. And as the last second dissolves, do not break the thread. Let there be an inward amen, not spoken consent. Carry this hush as you open your eyes, as you hear the world. We are not starting the machinery. We are continuing in the rest. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty now. Now, what just happened? Do not be in a hurry to answer that with a thermometer or a stopwatch. Presence is not a sensation, and it is not verified by a thrill traveling up the spine. If you felt warmth, fine. If you felt nothing at all, fine. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, not as the world measures by quiver and quake, not as the world counts by fireworks and display, but as an inner hush that loosens the fist of concern, and ease that asks for nothing. Sometimes it is so quiet that the mind, trained to equate value with drama, says, nothing happened. Don't be fooled. The seed is not less a seed because it is beneath the soil. We did not plant a trumpet. We planted life. Let us calibrate anew. How do you know a room was filled with fresh air? Not by confetti in the breeze, but by the way your breathing becomes unhurried, by the way the brow forgets to knit, by the way the heart ceases to bargain. That is presence. And if there was dryness, what you call emptiness, bless it. Often the Spirit clears the field of our demand for effects before planting the steady realization. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Confidence in what? In presence itself, not in the sensations that may accompany it. Refuse to grade the silence. Do not label it effective or ineffective, deep or shallow. Judge not according to the appearance. Let the soil be soil. Life will break ground in its own time. Here is our rule, and it will save you from the seesaw. Do not evaluate. Do not peek at the condition to see if the prayer worked. We were not working on the condition. We were resting in the one. We are not going to try to do anything to it. All we are going to do always is bring the realization of God's presence. If, after our quiet, the picture looks unchanged, say within yourself, Father, thou art here, and be finished. If the picture shifts in your favor, say the same and be finished. Give up gratitude for fireworks. Keep gratitude for God alone. My grace is sufficient for thee. May I confess, in earlier years I chased the glow. If a warmth arrived, I tried to bottle it and repeat it, and the very grasping sent it off like a bird. It took many dry meetings for me to learn that the peace which abides does not strut, it settles. I still lived, but not in the same atmosphere. That is our aim, not a string of sensations, but an atmosphere of one in which you can be in it, but not of it, meeting the same hours as yesterday without the old twitch to fix or fight, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Now, from this poise, this refusal to grade, this willingness to abide, we will walk into the heat of life. Health will shout, money will whisper its schedules and shortages, A quarrel will present its case on official letterhead, and we will not take up arms against any of it. We will carry our password as atmosphere. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. We will not try to change a condition. We will recognize the presence that dissolves the very premise of a second power. Then the outer of its own accord, without our manipulation, will find its new arrangement. Quietly now, we go there next. Now we take this poise into the street. Health will cry out its names. Money will rattle its digits. A quarrel will stand in the doorway with clenched fists. Do not be impressed. Do not hurry. Carry the password as atmosphere. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. We are not going to try to do anything to it. We are going to realize presence and let the picture of its own accord find its rightness. When the body shouts, the first temptation is to read the label and bow to it. Drop the label. Inwardly tear up the prescription of fear. 2 times 2 cannot be 5. Error has no law to sustain it. Who told thee that thou wast naked? Who said you are a body at the mercy of change? Say quietly within, this is not me. This is my body. I am invisible awareness through which life flows as health. Then be still. Do not aim truth at a symptom as if truth were a dart. Let truth be a light. Be still and know that I am God. We are not going to try to do anything to the tissue, to the chemistry, to the name. We are going to rest until that soft inner assurance steals. In my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Often, without your peeking, the fever's arithmetic forgets itself. The ache forgets its script. But the miracle is not the body. It is your release from the belief in 2 powers. When digits seem to rule ledgers, bills, deadlines, refuse to worship numbers. Do not stand before a column of figures as before an idol. Presence is supply before form appears, and form is only the shadow of realized presence. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Sit down, mute the calculator, whisper, Father, thou art here. Seek ye first the kingdom, not as a device to bait supply out of hiding, but because the kingdom is the only substance. Then rise and do the next ordinary thing without panic. You will find, as many of us have, that channels appear where you could not have traced them. An order returns, a debt is forgiven, a new avenue opens, but again, your gratitude belongs not to the check but to God. In a quarrel, do not see a person armed against you. See mesmerism shouting through a costume. Withdraw reaction. Refuse to meet force with force. Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Be still inside the conversation. Let a soft answer rise from the presence rather than a crafted politeness from fear. Sometimes the other's words continue, but the heat goes out of them because you are not feeding the furnace. Sometimes you will be given a word. Sometimes silence will do the work. In either case, you are in it but not of it, and love not personal sentiment, but the nature of God becomes the atmosphere, and the scene reorders without your manipulation. Remember the operational truth in every arena. We are not going to try to do anything to it. We are not grading the scene after prayer. We realize one presence, one power, and leave the outer to conform to inner law. Now, to live this beyond emergencies, we must grow up into it beyond the first denials, beyond mental maneuverings, into that final surrender in which God's peace, not the world's, becomes our life. Quietly, we turn to those stages next. Now, let me mark for you 3 degrees through which many of us pass, and perhaps you will recognize your footprints on this road. The first is the metaphysical denial. It is a merciful beginning. We learn that 2 times 2 cannot be 5, that error has no law to sustain it, and so we deny disease, deny lack, deny danger. Much relief comes, and rightly so. We have stopped kneeling to the image. But be honest, the first degree still smells of two powers. We are often arguing with the picture, swatting its shadows on a wall. We call it treatment, but somewhere in us we are hoping to make the shadow behave. We are not yet living by one power. We are still trying to fix, even with holy words. The second degree is what I call the mental life. Here conditions improve, and by attention and thought you can, for a season, marshal harmony. You visualize, affirm, concentrate, and the garden looks better. But the gardener is never off duty, and the fear behind the smile is, if I stop holding, it will slip. That is still the arm of flesh, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. In this degree we have refined control. We have not surrendered it. We want results, and we have learned to get them. Do not be fooled by it. They don't. They want a healing. And when you want a healing, you must keep working at the picture, because your God is still the outcome. The third degree asks more than method. It asks you. This is final surrender, the willingness to face the death of material sense and live by God's peace alone. It sounds like this: sick or well, rich or poor, praised or forgotten, I choose presence. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. When you say, I'm not trying to get well, you have to mean it. Put health, supply, reputation on the altar and leave them there. Stop peeking. Be still and know that I am God. We are not going to try to do anything to it. All we are going to do is bring the realization of God's presence. Then the horizon that threatened you recedes, because it was never a rim. The mesmerism of two powers begins to die. Leave your nets, comes the word, and follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Leave the nets of control, of mental fishing, of bargaining, and walk in the quiet liberty of one power. You still live, not in the same atmosphere in it, not of it. Identity now must be clarified, because without that, surrender becomes a pious pose. Who is it that surrenders? A frightened body? No. Who told thee that thou wast naked? Who said that the flesh is you and that you must cling to it as life itself? This is not me. This is my body. I am invisible. I am that awareness in which the body appears and serves, as a coat serves on a winter street. I wear it. I do not worship it. In him we live and move and have our being. When you hear that, do not let it pass as embroidery. Let it separate right now the I of you from the garment you use. The garment is God's also, yes, but not your identity. The I is life, spirit, consciousness, unseen, unthreatened, intact. And watch how fear loosens the moment. Identity shifts. A pain knocks and says, I am you in danger. You answer, no. You are a sensation arising in the field I am. Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Then be still. We are not going to try to do anything to the chemistry, the tissue, the label. We are going to live as who we are. The mesmeric hold breaks when you stop kneeling to the mirror. A man once sat with me, counting his symptoms like coins. I asked him, who counts? He laughed, and the laughter was a liberty. This is my body. I am invisible. He didn't deny a hand or a lung. He denied a lie of identity. The hand quieted later. That was not the miracle. The miracle was that he could be in it, but not of it. Now see how this same identity frees you from the money mesmerism. You are not a ledger. You are not an earner sustained by digits. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Bread will come, channels will open, but life is the word, the presence, the realized spirit. In the economy of spirit, money becomes a tool laid on the bench, not a master throned above you. You handle it, you count it, you spend and receive as the day requires, but you do not bow. Your concern is not for increase of figures. Your concern is to feel that surging of the Spirit within you. Then, as shadow follows form, supply follows presence. This is functional non-attachment, not neglect, not irresponsibility, but a posture. You drive the car, but you are not the car. You tend the house, but you are not the house. You dress the body, but you are not the body. You meet the day's accounts, but you are not accounted by them. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. That peace makes you safe in the midst of forms without fastening to them. The palm frond cut from the tree droops. Life is not in the frond. Life is the tree. You are the tree life, spirit, through which the fronds of body, money, circumstance show their green for a season. So, who are you? The invisible eye that hears these words, the consciousness in which worlds rise and settle. Let this not be philosophy. Let it be breath. And now, to make identity live in the hours, we must anchor it. We will take our password where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, and weave it into the day, not as a charm, but as appointment. At set times, without bargaining, we will abide until the eye of us is felt again, and the garment, the tools, and the tasks take their rightful places at our feet. Quietly, we will set that rule next. Now we set the rule, and I ask you to accept it not as a discipline laid upon you from without, but as the rhythm of your own heart learning its native beat. At least 3 times a day, morning, midday, evening, sit in, quiet until, say, that soft inner surge of spirit is felt. Before the foot touches the floor in the morning, pause. At some point in the middle of the day, close the office door, step to the garden, sit in the car, and again before sleep. These are not clocked devotions to earn favor. They are appointments with what is. We are not going to try to do anything to the day or to the body or to the bill. All we are going to do is bring the realization of God's presence. Hold to the password tenderly. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Whisper, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Then be still. Do not bargain for a result. Do not peek to measure. Do not grade the silence. Sit until your concern loosens, until you notice the brow forgot to knit, until a poise, however slight, registers, Father, thou art here. If it does not come, do not be impressed by the lack. Keep the appointment and leave the grading to the world you are no longer of. Let the appointment be simple. A chair, a breath that you do not manage, a phrase that opens the room. If 3 minutes are given, be faithful to the 3. If 15 come, do not boast of them. The integrity is not in the length, but in the refusal to use the time as a tool to fix. Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Do this daily, and you will discover that you still live, but not in the same atmosphere. You will walk in the same streets, meet the same faces, and the former hurry to make things happen will be found to have no host. Now, a word about crisis. The first sign of fear is your bell. At the first flutter in the stomach, the first heat in the cheeks, the first impulse to defend or to grasp, withdraw, 30 seconds if that is all you have, 2 minutes if they can be found. Do not answer the letter. Do not press send. Do not swallow the pill of panic. Step aside. Father, thou art here. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Man shall not live by bread alone. Be still and know that I am God. Let presence settle the atmosphere, and only then act. You will discover that what seemed urgent was hypnotism borrowing your breath. When presence is realized, the next right word, the next right step, arrives without strain. Gratitude now must be turned true. After every appointment, say within, thank you for thyself. Not thank you for the improvement, not thank you for the check, not thank you for the easing of pain. Give up gratitude for outcomes, keep gratitude for God alone. If after your quiet a condition shifts, let your thanksgiving be the same. Thank you for thyself. If nothing appears to move, the same, thank you for thyself. In other words, do not tie your praise to shadows. Tie it to the tree. And if you miss an appointment, do not condemn. Confess and resume. Integrity is not never missing. Integrity is never quitting the rule because you missed. Make presence your daily appointment, and you will find that anchors and rhythms stabilize one power living. The phrases become more than words, they become atmosphere. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Moves from your lips into your breath. Man shall not live by bread alone, stops being a text and becomes your economy. And then, with this rhythm established, we seal our consent to walk on nothing, to fix, nothing to fight, meeting each hour by realizing presence and letting liberty quietly, surely prove itself. Walk on, then, in the simple fact proved in the quiet. There are not two powers. Error has no law in God, no life of its own, any more than 2 times 2 can be 5. What shouts is hypnotism, a picture without substance. We will not bow, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. In it, but not of it, you will meet the same streets and faces and discover the old urge to fix and fight has no host when presence is realized. Therefore, when the hour arrives with its bills, test results, or quarreling voices, resist not evil. Withdraw a moment, 30 seconds, if that is all, Father, thou art here. Whisper it and mean it. We are not going to try to do anything to it. We are going to bring the realization of God's presence. Be still and know that I am God. Man shall not live by bread alone. Then act from poise, not panic. If a word is given, speak. If silence is given, be silent. Let presence lead, and let outcomes belong to God. And the promise is sure, though often quiet, where the Spirit is consciously realized, liberty appears without fanfare. Dawn does not argue the darkness out of the sky. It simply arrives, and the shadows forget themselves. So with the body, the bank, the relationship. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. If nothing seems to change, abide. If something shifts, abide. The seed works under the soil. Life is faithful to be itself. Make this your vow of integrity, and keep it when the night is long. Sick or well, rich or poor, my aim is spiritual awareness. I do not seek results, I seek God. When you say, I'm not trying to get well, you have to mean it. Put health, supply, reputation on the altar and leave them there. Give up gratitude for outcomes. Keep gratitude for God alone. Let your concern be to feel the surging of the Spirit within. The rest is shadow, and shadow will follow the tree. Walk on, then, as transparency, not technician, as witness, not warrior. In the market, the sick room, and at the table of negotiation, carry the hush. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Leave your nets of control and calculation. Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men by being atmosphere in which fear drops its weapons and love remembers itself. Thank you for the shared stillness. Walk on.